I think some of you that have been on this channel before know that I tend to get myself into situations where I become very opinionated, and I don't really hold back on anything. It's kind of the staple of my channel. Badass gaming, real opinions, and zero bullshit. That's the type of channel I run here. So when I talk about stuff like this that I'm going to talk about today, it's going to either make you really upset, it's going to make you clap your hands, it's going to be like, yeah bro, I agree with you sort of deal. Or you're going to scratch your head and be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Or you can just not give a shit and be here for the NBA 2K gameplay. Which, at the same time, this is actually a continuation from a previous video I made. Me and my brother were playing. He was Golden State, I was the all-time Bulls. And I proceeded to slap the shit out of him with Gilmore and Scottie Pippen, and occasionally Jordan and Dennis Rodman as well. And so I hope you guys enjoy that in the background. This is the end of the game, the second half, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to try and get as much of the gameplay of it as possible without all the dead spots, so I hope you appreciate that. Lots of editing went into this. But, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a 3-part little mini-series called The Things I've Learned from Online Dating. This can be in a vast array of things. A lot of it, some people will agree. Again, a lot of people will probably be like scratching your head like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or like, why does this particularly matter to you, sort of thing. So we'll see where this goes. I think it's just going to be fun to talk a little bit of shit, which is essentially what this whole ordeal is going to be. Some topics I'll discuss I don't particularly like to discuss, but for the sake of for the sake of argument, I'm just going to do it anyway. So first on the list in this first part of the video is going to be, why are all the attractive girls left-leaning? Now, again, I want to preface this by saying I don't really give a shit about politics. I think politics is a cancer to society, especially over the last several years, even before Trump was in office. So I have no real political leaning or agenda here. It's just me being observant as to what I think about things. I tend to think of myself more as an independent than anything, and I just don't really give a fuck. If you really give a fuck about politics, I think you need help. But that's going to get into a topic later on. So why are all the hot chicks left-leaning, and the less attractive ones are more conservative? I don't know what it is, and this has kind of been changing recently as before I made this video, where I kind of run into a couple of girls on Bumble specifically, where you actually could specifically list your political agenda or your leaning. And you can be like, oh yeah, I'm a conservative, blah blah blah, and I'm sitting here like, and I'm like, you're not really that attractive. And then like most recently, I'm more like, oh, she's actually kind of attractive. So I would swipe left or swipe right depending on how I feel, that sort of deal. But for me, a lot of the more attractive women that I find on Bumble tend to either lean left or be more in the moderate or apolitical side of things. Very seldomly do I find any attractive women that are not overweight, for lack of better terms, which is probably the nicest I can say, because there are quite a few overweight women that are on these apps, and that's a different story for a different time when I do this little mini series. But that's one thing I've noticed. And keeping on and staying with politics here, another thing I've noticed is the fact that people are really fucking weird. And I'll say this for a reason. Again, I have no political leaning. I don't give a shit about politics. I don't watch the news. I don't give a fuck about what's going on in the world, because no politics federally affect you on that personal of a scale. State politics maybe affects you more, and of course, town and local politics probably affect you more than anything that the federal government does, more or less. And that might be true before coronavirus, but who knows? But all I'm saying is this. If I see a girl that, whether she's right, left, doesn't matter. If I see a girl and she says, oh, if you don't support this or that, swipe left or whatever. Or if you voted for this person or over that person, swipe left. That's fucking weird, dude. Like, how is politics that much of your daily life? Like, it may not even be your job. Maybe you're a political science major, so maybe you're trying to do something for the sake of conversation and learning, but how is politics that big of a deal to you? That you, a 20 to, or even 18 to whatever aged woman is going to be so, like, it's so ingrained in you that you actually have to put it in a dating profile. Like, to me, that comes off as a form of, like, mental illness. And this goes for either side of the spectrum. It really does. I don't really care. I say I don't care, but at the same time, that, to me, that shit bothers me. That's like a pet peeve of mine, where it's like, oh, if you don't support this, swipe left. Or if you voted for this person, swipe left. It goes for either side, and it's just so weird. And more or less, I do swipe left, even if I do agree with some of the things they say. So I'm sitting here like, it's just corny. It's just such a corny thing to do, where it's like, how is politics so ingrained in your life where you have to even put it on a dating profile? And honestly, and the other thing is this, like, the other thing I don't understand about these people that do this is, even if someone does have a different opinion than you, you know, the last thing I ever want to do, and you never really, I have this idea where you never really stop learning things. No matter how old you get, you never really stop learning. Hence why I make this fucking video. This is the things I've learned from online dating that I may or may not have noticed before. But this, you never really stop learning. So having a conversation with someone on a different side of the spectrum for you could be healthy, I think, personally. I don't believe in echo chambers. I believe echo chambers only cause a further, a worse problem for you as a person. If you just hear the same thing over and over again. Oh yeah, fuck this guy, yeah, why did his policies suck? Oh yeah, I agree with you, that sort of thing. It doesn't really help you in a way. So when people say or do shit like that, I sit there and I question really who they are as people. If they can't really take opinions of a different side of things or see a new perspective of things, it's really weird. It's really, I guess that just comes to the fact that you just can't really reason with these types of people so much to the point where they have to put it in the dating profile to get their point across, which again comes off as corny and odd to me. But, you know, that's that. That's as much as I want to talk about the political aspect. I mean, if you're gonna fucking want to not date because I agree with different things than you, I mean, you might as well tell me who the fuck you want me to vote for at this point with the upcoming election going on. And boy, do I have an idea for a video on that. That's gonna be fun. But, and again, I fucking hate politics. If you fucking care so much about politics, you are a fucking corny bastard or bitch, whatever you want to, whatever the fucking 30,000 genders you think you have, or I don't really give a shit. But that's as edgy as I want to get in that regards. Here's one thing that, this may seem ridiculous to some people. This may seem ridiculous more than the politics, but I'm a big sports guy. So I'm a strictly New York sports fan. I like the Yankees, the Rangers, the Knicks, and the Giants. New York Giants. With a couple of other New York teams here and there, like the Red Bulls, New York City Football Club for soccer, that sort of deal. Like, I don't care too much for soccer, but if it's on, I'll watch it. Red Bulls more or less suck sometimes anyway, so I really tend to stay away from the MLS and care more about the FIFA World Cup when that comes around every couple of years, but that's a different story for a different time. So a lot of these women I see on these dating apps come from, or at least in the area of Philadelphia. Now, keep in mind, New Jersey, where I live, is a melting pot of different types of sports cultures. Philadelphia being one, and New York being the other, predominantly. There's a very few and very seldom New Jersey teams. The Devils being probably, I think, the only one. And of course, there's the Jets, and then there's the Jets and the Giants, who share the same stadium in MetLife. You know, that sort of ordeal. So I never realized how much sports really influenced how much I like a person until I started like really paying attention to it. Because I started to realize one day where it's like, oh, big Eagles fan, big Flyers fan, that sort of deal. And I'm like, haha, fuck you, swipe left. Now, what I just said pretty much negates everything I just mentioned in the prior point with the politics. It's like, okay, you don't care about politics, but you care more about sports. Exactly, because I do care about sports, and hockey, particularly one of them, is, I would never in a million fucking years date a Flyers fan. Flyers fans and Eagles fans are the lowest form of scum in any sports fan base, in my opinion. They rank lower than any sports fandom I know. They are literally scum. And I would never date someone that, or even remotely date someone that even is associated with said fan bases. Now, I do have some exceptions, depending on how attractive the girl is. I will make some exceptions if I find her relatively attractive, which is very seldom. Now, in terms of baseball and basketball, baseball, it doesn't really bother me too much, because if you're a Phillies fan, it doesn't matter to me, because Phillies and Yankees aren't even in the same league. I mean, Phillies is National League and the Yankees are AL League, or American League. So, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I mean, we the only time we ever face each other is if either of us ever went to the World Series, which we did in 2009, and clapped those cheeks. Chase for 27 that year, baby. Now we need the 28th. But that's as much as shit as I want to talk about the Phillies, though. I kind of feel bad for them. They signed Bryce Harper, and they suck absolute balls. But that's different. But again, different story for a different time. And basketball, Sixers don't really bother me. I mean, I don't really pay too much attention to basketball. I mean, I know I'm a very big Knicks fan. I will never betray the Knicks, but they really are bad. We're a meme. We're a living meme at this point. It sucks ass. It really does. But you know, I accept the fact that the Sixers are a better team. It is what it is. But like I said, Eagles and Flyers, no go for me, bro. You have to be a fucking 10 or higher, if that's even possible, to even get me to consider that sort of deal. Because I will not be a part of any toxic ass fan base knowing I'm a Giants or a Rangers fan. So that's just me. And the last point I want to make in this video, as this video winds down, is people, or women specifically, that use TV shows or food as a personality trait. By TV shows, I mainly mean The Office. For some reason, The Office is incredibly popular. And I've watched bits and pieces of it. I know more or less some of the storylines that have taken place from people that have talked to me about it. I don't find it that entertaining. I don't find it even remotely funny. I think the most I've ever done watching those bits and pieces is chuckle. And I find a lot of things funny. My sense of humor is incredibly high compared to most people nowadays, especially since I can laugh at anything. So for me, I don't find it funny. So when people make this show their identity, more or less, I find that to be, again, corny and weird. It just seems like that's all to you. Like you're a fucking Office fan. Okay, cool. I mean, I love shows like Deadliest Catch, but I don't fucking make it an identity of mine. I love shows like Vikings, and I don't dress up in cosplay like Ragnar Lothbrok, who was played by Travis Fimmel, who's fucking awesome. But anyway, that's just so corny to me. How some people just become these shows, like Parks and Rec is another one I've noticed a lot lately too. And they just make these shows their identity. It's like, that's all? You got nothing else to offer? And same thing with food. It's like, oh, the only way to my heart is food. Well, bitch, you need food to survive. So you kind of do need food. I mean, you don't get any nourishment in your body, you're going to shrivel up and fucking die. That's essentially how it is. So obviously, everybody likes food. I mean, hell, I was fat at one point. I knew I loved food, but and I can tell some people on this app definitely love food. Ooh, that's a low blow, but you know what I mean. So that's more or less on that. I mean, again, this is just the tip of the iceberg, man. I'm gonna go way deeper into this. Man, over the next coming weeks. And some of you may be offended by shit I say. I personally don't give a fuck. I really don't care if you're offended by what I've said throughout the course of this video, because that's the point. The whole point of this is to expose shit from my point of view that I think are either stupid or lame or kind of odd, or even hell, it could even be attractive to me. But this is just everything from my point of view, and obviously my point of view is different from everyone else. I'd love to hear other people's points of view about this sort of thing, because I don't really see many videos on this, but then again, I don't really bother to search it up. So this type of stuff may be out there, but so here's the thing: if you use Tinder or Bumble or any of those other apps that are out there, do me a favor, go and kind kind of look up some of these things. Like, I got plenty more videos to talk about, but see if you notice patterns as time goes on throughout the course of you using these apps. Because I can tell you right now, there is a high chance you're going to run into shit like that. There's a high chance you're going to run into people like this and so on. So, and again, and if there's any lesson I want you guys to learn, especially on the political side of things, it's okay to not date someone of different political leaning, but at the same time, at least talk to them, maybe learn their side of, maybe learn their point of view and shit. I'm an open-minded person, again. I don't let politics run my life. I hate politics. Even if I was I think I'd be a better politician than these fucks over in Washington. That's all I'll say. But anyway, that's just me. Thank you guys for watching. Dominated my little brother with the all-time Bulls. Jordan's the true GOAT. Don't at me. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day and peace out.